All right, so Sean asks, what do you look for in a bass player? Kip is obviously a great player, but what should a bass player do to really lock in with a drummer? Like, what do you look for?
Yeah. Hey, Sean. Well, you find out immediately if you have chemistry with a bass player as soon as you start playing. Now, it's interesting. I've played with so many great bassists in my career, and I've gotten to jam with some monster bass players who I've really admired, but when I jammed with them, I couldn't find their place on the beat. Just imagine, like, if this is a beat in here, beat one, some people hit on the front end of it, so like they're pushing the time. Others are really laid back where it's coming a little late, and others are right on the money. And there's no wrong or right. It's just that the way you play creates the feel, whether it's an edgy feel, a laid back, loose, groovy feel, or just a right on the money feel. I don't really. It's hard for me to even kind of answer that question because within reason, I can find most bass players. It's like I'll play with them and go, oh, okay, this guy pushes things a little bit, so that's okay. I can make the adjustment. And so, Kip Winger he's a really, really great bass player. He doesn't do fancy stuff, but then again, he's kind of singing on top of it, and so he's more like in the middle guy. Other bass players that I've played with who just are mind-blowing to me, Alphonso Johnson in Jazz is Dead. I used to see him in Weather Report and the Billy Cobb and George Duke Band back when I was in college, and he's a bass player that I looked at on stage and said, God, I hope I can play with him one day. And so I've been really lucky enough to have that opportunity. The bass players with the Dixie Dregs, the original bass player, Andy West, he plays with a pick, and he plays a little bit more on top of the beat, and love playing with him. Dave LaRue is maybe more in the center, plays with the thumb. I'm sure I'm leaving people out. John Mayung from Dream Theater, he's kind of got his own thing. He's a one-of-a-kind bassist. But it's really not so much being able to answer, like, what am I looking for? It's just you sit down and jam, and it's either happening or not. But I do like a bass player who really has a very, very strong sense of rhythm, and almost like a bass player who can carry me along with them, as much as me carrying them.
Yeah, it makes you a better player if you're tight with them.
It's always great if you can play with musicians, that you think are better than you, because, you will rise to the occasion.